Okay. I wasn't quite ready with the setup yet, but it's already recording. So let's see if we can just keep it rolling. It's a little tilted. Is that going to drive you nuts? It'll probably drive me nuts. Aha! Success. Hopefully we don't get anyone in the background. Sorry, other shoppers. I thought I had a deck in my bag, and I don't. I try my best to plan for the day when I leave to do my shopping for others. I don't know if I'm allowed to say like the name of the brand. I think I already did say it in one of these videos, but that's okay. So I do shopping for others, whether it's grocery shopping. Sometimes I go to home improvement stores. Sometimes I go to bulk stores, and sometimes it's regular grocery stores. But I always, am I speaking too loud? Am I shouting? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out a good volume. I get excited and then I speak loud, and I hope it's not blasting your eardrums. So I try my best to be prepared. I bring a notebook so I can jot down whether I get inspired writing for my business, as I do have a blog. Ooh, and there goes the alarm. I guess I'm going to be doing some blog writing today. Yay! So when the batches are slow, I don't pick every batch. It needs to make sense for the amount of miles I need to drive, the gas in my car, and what the items are, and the particular store. So I know that sounds really bougie, but no, it's just do what makes sense for you, right? What makes sense for you isn't going to make sense for the next person. It always depends on your situation. So I try to bring everything with me for the day so that I can be productive during my downtime. Oh, this lady, do you need help? What beautiful white hair. Is that weird? I think that elderly people with just that white hair or that pure gray, that silver, is just gorgeous. I think it's the wisdom that they hold in their crown. That's why your hair turns white or gray. You have all that wisdom in there. It's like a beacon of everything you've been through in life. Don't dye your hair when you get older. I'm going to stop dyeing it. That's why my hair looks crazy, people. I know I'm getting sidetracked with the message. Maybe this is all part of the message. Maybe I'll leave my hat off. I thought I had a deck in my bag. Bringing it back to the main point. I like to be prepared, because when you are prepared for something, you don't have fear. And part of not living in survival mode, people like to say, as an excuse for a reason why they're not doing something in their life, like, oh, I would eat better, but healthy groceries are too expensive. Or, well, yeah, I would leave this toxic relationship, but I'm relying on them for my finances. Or, I would love to send my kids to more sports or get them involved with things or play with them more, but I am always, I don't have enough time, or we don't have enough money to send them to all the things. So that's living from a scarcity survival perspective. And this has been a theme that's been coming up in the past few days. When you switch the perspective, right, then the door of opportunity and possibilities open that you may not have been aware of in the closed state of mind. If you are saying there is no possible way, the universe is just going to say, okay. We receive more of what we are and the energy that we live in. So if you are living in a scarcity energy, if you are living in this energy of lack, you will see more of that show up in your 3D experience of life, in your world, because people are living very different realities. 2026, someone in a third world country is living a totally different reality and experience of life than I am, right? And someone who is the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or a published author on the New York Times bestseller list, or someone living in Hawaii, like in paradise. We all have totally different life experiences, right? But one thing stays the same: when you maintain and expect this sympathetic nervous system engaged state all the time, that's what you're going to attract more of into your life. So it's up to you to change the vibration first, and then the physical reality will shift around you to confirm the energy that you are choosing to exist in and to emit. So when we are prepared, when we take the action, we align to what we want, and then we take the action in cohesion with that alignment. So for example, I am building my own business from the ground up: mindset coaching for moms, emotional regulation, how to move out of scarcity mode and move out of survival mode into abundance, into open communication, into possibilities for you and your family and your future and your kids. And I believe that this is how I'm going to impact the world, by impacting the next generation through the moms that I help, right? So how do we create a better world for tomorrow? You teach the leaders that are influencing the young minds of today. Our subconscious mind is formed from the age of, sorry, I'm tripping over my words here. It's like it all wants to come out really fast. We influence the next generation by influencing the parents and the influential leaders, the role models that the young minds of tomorrow, our future leaders, are paying attention to now. So from 0 to 7 is an extremely influential time. So I want to help moms regulate themselves so they can raise regulated children. And this is all stuff I've learned through experience, right? So this is the business that I left a career to start building. And there's a lot of learning curves. And as I'm learning along the way, I'm sharing my experiences, and I'm sharing the techniques, the strategies that are working for me and not working for me as I experience them in real time. So being prepared is probably the number one thing that I do to get out of survival and scarcity mode, right? And take the aligned action. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm prepared. I'm gonna bring, I have my little setup here with my tripod. It's like a bendy thing. It can wrap around a tree or a pole or a handrail or the car mirror. Oh my gosh, it's shaking. Sorry guys, I hope I'm not making anyone dizzy. Does it look like we're out at sea? I would love that. Let's get on a ship. Someone invite me to your yacht, I'll come. It is my intention to one day own my own yacht and invite my followers and people whose lives I have impacted to come join with me and celebrate our growth and our achievements together on my yacht. Speaking that into existence. Thank you, Spirit. So it sounds like today's message because I forgot my tarot deck. I thought I put it in my bag. I like to bring, my recording stuff. I have my mic. I always bring a notebook for, like I said, if I get a blog inspiration or just some part of my business I'm old school, so pen and paper, I got to get it out of here and onto the page, right? And that's part of manifestation in itself, is like taking something from formless and putting it into form. It's very, very powerful. So write your ideas down, people. Write your ideas down. The world needs more. I love the Range Rover Defender. Oh my gosh, I don't want to be a creep, but some guy just drove by in one. Oh, such a great car. Calling that in. I would love that. Thank you, Spirit. This baby has served me long enough. It's time for an upgrade. So I can't wait to share with you guys how my Range Rover shows up in my life. For real, when it does. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because my check engine light's on. Not for long, not for long. You're doing great. Oh God, got sidetracked again. Okay, so it seems like the message here is when we are prepared, it takes the fear out of it, right? Because the physical things that hold us back are often just an illusion of our own creation. So getting out of bed early in the morning is really easy if you've already written down what you're going to do when you get up. You maybe set out your clothes for your workout or for the day, or both the night before. You have, whether it's your coffee, your tea, something set up ready to go the night before. Your kids have clear expectations, or a clear understanding of the expectations for them for the day. So these are all things that I've started implementing. You know, I keep stuff in my car that I might need on a regular basis. Always a barf bag for the kids, always roll of paper towels, hand wipes, some snacks, a lint roller, because we have a cat, you know, gardening gloves, in case I do a heavy batch from a home improvement store or a garden center. And these are my cooler bags. So that's just a silly example of how I'm prepared on a regular basis as I'm growing my business, and I'm also getting cash flow from the shopping, right? I had to let go of the way that I was limiting. Oh, and I just got a message. I had to let go of the way I was limiting and putting blinders on and almost guardrails on my manifestation. So, okay, I'm calling in a successful business and a mindset coaching business and private clients that I can work with one-on-one, you know, moms that really want to work on themselves. Oh my gosh, the music just went off. Can you guys hear that? Maybe this is a sign we gotta vibe out. Hold on one second. Okay, the song that just randomly started playing in the car is called Her Eyes by Charlie Geer. So there might be a message coming through with that. Is there something going on with my eyes today? Can you see the universe in my eyes? What do you see? Hopefully it's a mirror to reflect back to you that which you most need to see or hear. That is my intention for this channel, to bring joy to the world, to bring a fresh perspective. And today, I forget where I was in the message, but being prepared takes you out of scarcity mode. It takes the fear out of the equation, because it ensures that you have the physical things that you need to accomplish, to take the action, right? That being said, I was unprepared. So today I learned a lesson. And the lesson was not to shame myself, because when you learn a lesson, you got to let go of the guilt that's associated with it. You know, like if you screw up your diet and you eat something that you said you weren't going to eat, don't guilt trip yourself on top of it. Be like, okay, I recognize that I lapsed in my resolve to stay committed to the diet. Why did that happen? Well, was I not prepared with enough healthy snacks, right? Was there some external stimuli that got thrown into the mix that I couldn't even control? You know, were there other contributing stressors? And then that is where I allowed my boundary to slip, right? Because there's certain things that when you make a decision is a very powerful frequency, an absolute decision. When you decide something, and it's often tied to identity. So for example, I used to smoke cigarettes. When I decided I will no longer smoke cigarettes, I'm not a smoker, that was a very powerful decision, right? And never went back. Now, when I decided to leave my career, right, it took a while for me to break the identity of showing up as that version of myself over to showing up as the entrepreneur version of myself who has multiple income streams, right? So I'm working on the business while I'm doing, personal shopping for people. I wrote a list yesterday. There's a bunch of other things on the list. So letting go of the strict framework that you want your manifestation to show up in. That's where I was. Man, sometimes I get on these detours, guys, and I guess it's for a reason. I guess I needed to say something that someone needed to hear, but I know I get sidetracked. Sorry. I'll do my best to stick to it. Whatever, we're having fun here. What's that comedian? Who's that comedian? He goes, he's really got a lot of facial hair. He's always wears hats. He's we're having a good time. Oh, what's his name? My ex-husband and I used to watch a lot of comedy together, and I'm sure he would know. I'll probably ask him. Thank God we're on good terms. Wow, this is random. I guess a personal share. Just for those of you out there that are struggling with your relationship, the same message applies. This is what I'm being called to say. The same message applies. Being prepared takes you out of scarcity. So if you don't nurture, if you don't water a plant, it doesn't grow. The same thing with your relationship. If you don't nurture it or nourish it, it's going to fizzle out. So make sure you're watering deep roots. That's something I learned, I don't know from who, maybe my mother, my grandmother. You water a plant, you don't water the leaves, you water around the root, So make sure that you guys reignite your connection over the things that really matter deep at the root. And you can do that by dedicating time to aligning on the same path together and calling in the manifestation together. So what are your expectations of that person? What are you reaching for together? And make sure you're watering the roots of that. Have those conversations. Relationships take work. So, wow, that was a very, interesting, a very big shift in the energy, but just in a calm way. It was all, ooh, maybe this is a message in itself. It was all high energy at the beginning, and then, okay, yeah, the flowers on... That's so funny. And when I pulled up today and I parked, someone had dropped a tray of fruit on top of their hood, and there was just fruit all over the hood. I'm like, oh, the fruit of your labor just flung about. She goes, I'm just gonna leave it for the birds. Okay. She had a great attitude towards it. She wasn't upset. She said, no, I'll just leave it for the birds. Let them, let nature do its thing. So allow the fruits of your labor in this relationship to blossom, but don't be distracted by the bright colors, right? Continue to pour energy and attention and time into the roots of what you're doing so that it can continue to blossom and to continue to produce the fruit. Interesting. Okay. Well, that was the reading for today. No cards. If I feel so called later today when I get home and I have a deck available, maybe I'll pull a few cards. We'll see what confirmation it has on this reading, on the energy that I'm tapping into right now. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you stayed till the end, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming along for the ride, this mystical, joyful, fun ride. And I will show up for you tomorrow. Peace out, world.